Do you like basketball?
Mm-hmm.
I like, but I'm not good at. Yes, I'm not.
Me too.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the State of the League podcast, the only NBA podcast. What are we the only NBA podcast today, Pablo?
We're the only NBA podcast that talks about every single team every week when the season starts kind of soon.
Kind of soon, in like a month and a half, I'd say.
You know what? I really don't care about preseason.
Oh, me neither. Yeah, when I plotted out all of our shit, I said like, oh, preseason starts this day, but that'll be like an afterthought. We're not going to be on here like really breaking down the preseason games. Yeah.
There will be someone who's gonna go crazy.
Yeah, I'm sure. Was
like
it
Sam
Jabari
Merrill.
Smith last year who hit like a game winner in preseason, and it was really cool? He might have done that in summer league.
Yeah, I think he was a summer league like monster.
Yeah, it was like, why is he playing in summer league? I think.
Yeah, not too many preseason monsters. Maybe I don't know.
Well, how many preseason games does everyone even play? Like 3?
I have no clue. I've never tuned into preseason.
Well, this is the year, baby. I know the Nuggets and the Celtics play in Abu Dhabi on October 4th. That's the big one. That's like when preseason kicks off, and then there's a bunch of other shit. The Raptors play the Wizards on October 4th, and I might. Who knows? Who knows where I'll be during that game? Maybe I'll be at Capital One Arena. Maybe I'll be somewhere else, an exotic location, the Amalfi Coast.
Edward Snowden dies, and you're invited to the funeral at the Kremlin.
Is he on the verge of death, or is this just like?
No, I mean it could happen to anyone.
Well, yeah, especially. I mean, shit. The CIA is probably like throwing everything they got at that guy out of spite at this point. Like they're just mad he got away. All right, today, what are we doing? Oh, we're grading off seasons for every single NBA team. This is leading into our previews of the season for each NBA team. So we figured it'd be a good idea to let you guys get your bearings on what every team did this off season. Do you have any way you specifically want to do this? Or do you want to do like grade each one, put them into tiers, or what?
We could just throw out arbitrary grades, I guess.
I like that. I like that a lot. Do you have anywhere that you want to start? I literally copied everything from the NBA's like NBA.com offseason recap into my notes in like alphabetical order. So I have like the Hawks at the top of the list.
I'm looking at a Bleacher Report article that's in alphabetical order. So we can start there.
Hell yeah. Let's get into the alphabet, baby.
And they have grades on here too, so I don't even have to think of my own.
Wow, I mean, we are straight up the plagiarizing of the league. That's the name of this podcast at this point. Who wrote that article that you're looking at?
Andy Bailey. Oh,
he's a guy, I'm pretty sure.
Is he the stats guy that gets in arguments on Twitter?
I think he is. Yeah,
I think he's the Jokic Shaq guy.
Yeah, well, I know Swipa Cam is like he's the guy who posted the side by side graphic where it was like, oh, Jokic averages more points, rebounds, field goal, like all that shit. But Andy Bailey, I think, is the guy who will do like all of the numbers per 75 and like a bunch of impact metrics, and then he'll just do like a poll. So he'll be like, player A averages per 75 30, 10, and 8 on 62% true shooting, whatever. And then he'll quote the polls and be like, player A was Jokic, player B was Shaq. You guys all voted for this. Is crazy. Yeah, so that was a really healthy dialogue over the past couple of days for the legacy of Nikola Jokic.
I hate those so much because you know what it brings out? It brings out the number one worst NBA tagline phrase, which is not even close. And so people, Shaq is way better than Jokic, not even close, or vice versa. Like as if two of the big, like top 5, top 10 offensive players ever like as if there's a massive gap.
There's a Grand
between one.
Canyon between these guys, especially guys with like, I mean, Jokic isn't dunking the ball, Shaq isn't averaging 8 assists, but guys with kind of similar play styles, like really dominant scoring within like 6-7 feet of the basket and stuff. So yeah, like people were just like, there's no, I mean, that guy, your guy, he's not sniffing my guy. My guy's way better. Yeah,
There
it's
is
beautiful.
no such thing as not even close between all-time greats. I hate it.
I mean, shit. If you showed me like Kevin Garnett and Sean Kemp, I'd still be like, yeah, it's not like it's not like the difference between Sean Kemp and a guy who played like 3 years in the NBA or something. Sean Kemp was really good. Yeah, that's kind of the angle I always approach it from. So, starting with the Hawks, shout out to Andy Bailey though. No real hate, just a little bit of nerd calculator boy hate. The Hawks' biggest move this offseason was trading DeJounte Murray for Dyson Daniels, Larry Nance Jr., Cody Zeller, and I think a pick or two, if I'm not mistaken exactly. How did you feel about this trade?
Wait, the DeJounte Murray trade specifically?
I mean, well, yeah, like we could. How'd you feel about that? And then how did you feel about the Hawks offseason as a whole? They did a few other things. Obviously, they got the first overall pick and stuff, but I feel like this is the definitive move for a team that is going to look to, like, I don't know, be competitive with Trey next year and shit, make the playoffs and everything.
Yeah. Honestly, it didn't really move me. Like, I feel like they're going to be either in the same spot they were last year or they're going to be worse because the DeJounte Trey pairing did not work. So it could be addition by subtraction just in terms of that. And I like Dyson Daniels, and maybe he continues to get better, and some other guys like Jalen Johnson continue to get better. And just being, instead of doing like part-time Trey offense, like full-time Trey offense, it's bad for your long-term prospects because it doesn't translate to the playoffs the same way, but it's good for regular season offense, I think. And then defensively, they probably got better just because what's his name? Dyson Daniels is pretty good. And then, yeah, they got Rizashea and they got, oh, my phone is tweaking out. Yeah, Larry Nance. And so I think ultimately they're probably just the same guys.
I'll go, they'll be a little bit better. I don't think it will be necessarily, like at this point in the Trey experience, and like, I don't know. I don't want to be one of those people who's like, Trey's gonna leave, like just speculating that every star is gonna want out. But Trey has been around long enough, and the respect level with him and what he brings to the table as a player has gotten low enough that you would really want to see like a competitive year, kind of a bounce back year for everybody. I don't know if it will be that level, but I think they will be better. What did they go last year? Do you know?
They didn't even make the play-in, right? Or did they?
I don't think so. I think the play-in in the East was what? Philadelphia, Miami, and then maybe they won the first play-in game but lost the second one.
The Bulls
okay,
weren't
so
in it, were we?
Last year they went 36-46. So I think they can be better than that this year.
Yeah, they could. Do you think they'll make the play-in?
Fuck it. Yeah. I'll say yes. Because I've been big on Jalen Johnson all off season. So if he takes a step forward, I think Dyson Daniels will be fine. But like I don't know. You are just really hoping to do the addition by subtraction thing. I think Trey, an offensive Trey, Bogdanovich, Jalen Johnson, if Rizashea is what people expect him to be, which is like low ceiling but relatively high impact player right away, I think that will help a lot. And yeah, I mean, like 42 wins for this team, it doesn't feel impossible. How much did Trey miss last year with the finger and everything? He only played 54 games. Is that a career low for him? Yeah, it is.
I wonder
Sorry, you go.
What was their record with him?
Give me a sec. Yep, and I'll pull it up.
if you go to his splits, you can see his stats on wins and losses. Little life hack. Also, you could just type it in his stat news.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm doing stat news.
But yeah, rest in peace, Trae Young. He had a big time pinky injury last year, so hopefully he'll come back and be the same player. But as for my grade overall, I'm throwing a C, solid C on the Atlanta Hawks. I'm putting their ceiling at play-in team, and I'm putting their floor at disbanded franchise because the owner's son spends all the money at a strip club in Caicos.
Okay, I like that. By the way, the Hawks were 22-32 with Trae Young last year, so 10 games below
Losing
500.
player.
I mean, he literally does not contribute to winning. This is super embarrassing. Yeah, I don't know. For whatever reason, I just feel everything's a little less clunky with DeJounte involved. 40-42 wins. I'm happy putting the ceiling at play-in team, and I'm happy giving them a C grade. They did re-sign Vit Krejci, which I wanted to shout that out. I liked him a lot. He signed 4 years, $10 million. So, I mean, if he just if he keeps just like marginally improving, I think the back 2 years of that contract could honestly be pretty solid.
It could be a Vit Krejci value.
Yes. All right. Next team, the NBA champion Boston Celtics. Their biggest move this offseason, I would say the Tatum max extension, 5 years, $315 million. So that is $63 million annually. They also extended Derek White for 4 years, which with incentives, that could be up to 126 mil. I don't know like what the minimum is on it. And then 4 years for Sam Hauser as well, for $45 million total. And then Luke Cornett and Xavier Tillman also both came back on like short 1-2 year deals.
There's been some psychological warfare going on. Tatum benched at the Olympics.
Steve Kerr poisoning the water?
Yes, the water could be poisoned. Jaylen Brown, it could be plotting some assassinations right now or something. And then Derek White and Drew Holiday got paid, but they got paid less. So what if they're thinking, hey, you pay us more, pay us $300 million?
I do like the idea of like just a summer of anxiety and paranoia between Tatum and Brown. Like their relationship is deteriorating in a way that they've never had to like figure out before. And then the whole time, Drew Holiday and Derek White are like playing golf, being like, "Damn, dude, I got the $130 million. This is pretty sick, man. Who would have thought?"
Yeah, they didn't change anything really. They added Baylor Shireman. They don't have to.
Mm-hmm.
A plus. They didn't break it up.
Yeah, I'll give it an A. I'll give it an A tier. Ceiling, I mean, literally defending champs. Yeah. I don't know. Like, is it an A tier just for precedent moving forward? Is it an A tier if you just bring back all the guys? I guess it's an A tier because they're bringing back a contender. We'll get to some teams down the road where it's like you're bringing back 45 wins, and that's not quite the same thing.
Yeah, the Cavs bringing the gang back together is a different vibe.
It's a little bit different. Yeah, the road forward is a little rockier than just like, hey, Jaylen Brown's acting crazy online. There's bigger questions in Cleveland. All right, the Brooklyn Nets, their biggest move, the Mikal Bridges trade. It finally happened. The Nets in this trade, they receive 4 unprotected first-round picks in 2025, 27, 29, and 31. They also receive an unprotected pick swap in 2028, a top 4 protected first in 2025 from the Bucks, and then a second-round pick in 2025, plus like players for salary: Bojan Bogdanovic, Shake Milton, and Mamadi Diakite. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Okay, that makes sense. How'd you feel about this move? How'd you feel about the Nets off season?
I didn't realize they got Bogdanovic. Which move was he in?
He was in the Mikal Bridges trade. He was like the big salary piece in it.
Oh yeah, I forgot he got moved to the Knicks.
Yeah.
he could. This could be huge. He could average 20 and then get traded for a first rounder. Yeah, I think it's a great offseason for the Nets. Just based off that move, I think it was completely changed the course of their franchise, and now they are a team that could lose in peace. So
Yeah. Shout out to Breadphobic in the Patreon Discord. If you want to go to patreon.com/state of the league, you can join the Discord. It's $5 plus you get all the other perks we always fucking talk about. You can put in lobbyist requests. I was in there earlier and I was like, you know what convinced me why your guys' team had a good offseason? And he put forth a very compelling argument for them having the best offseason in the league because they also, I forgot, they figured it out with Houston to where they got their picks back. The picks they gave up for James Harden, they got those back from Houston. So it's not just that they can like lose in peace having a bunch of draft capital. They can lose in peace knowing that like if they win 15 games, it will directly benefit them and not the Houston Rockets. So I thought that was a really big deal as well. They also re-signed Nick Claxton to a pretty solid deal. It's 4 years, $100 million, and it's descending. So 28 million next year. And then by the time they're looking to be like kind of competitive, or to be honest, by the time they might be looking to like move him to a contender for a younger draft capital type thing, it'll be a really good contract if he's the type of player he's looked like the past several years.
They're cooking. They're cooking. They got a good foundation. I'll tell you what. I wish I was a Nets fan.
Yeah, we'll get to your guys. Don't worry. The alphabet, C's pretty high up there. They also signed Killian Hayes, 1 year non-guaranteed. I wanted to shout that out.
Fantastic gamble. Did I give my grade? I'll say A.
Yeah, I said A+. Yeah, getting the picks back is just so insane. I don't know. I looked at the trade, but it was just like, I think straight up like an exchange of draft picks. I'm not sure exactly what happened with it. At least when I Googled Nets get their picks back from the Rockets, that's what came up. But regardless, it's looking very bright in Brooklyn. A+, ceiling, Cooper Flag. The Charlotte Hornets, their biggest move, oh my God, re-signing Miles Bridges, 3 years, $75 million. They also re-signed Seth Curry to 1 year and $3.3 million. And Josh Green was involved in the Klay Thompson sign and trade. How'd you feel about it?
They lost the GOAT.
Who's the GOAT? I know, they did waive Pokusevski. That surprised me a little bit.
Yeah, this team is kind of in the same spot. I like Josh Green. I think Solo was a good draft pick, but yeah, overall, I don't really see anything that made this team better.
Yeah. I gave them, I think I wrote down I only gave out grades for like 3 or 4 teams before I was just like, fuck it, we can just like spitball it live. For them, I wrote down like a C- D type thing, because I really did not like the Miles Bridges deal. Like, I think it's not 5 years or anything. I don't think it's going to bleed heavily into the era where they want to be competitive. But even outside of him being like a serial abuser, like he's not $25 million worth of basketball ability.
I don't like anything going on. They are cooked still.
Yeah. I'll give him a C-. No, I'll give him a D. Somebody's got to be bad.
I'm giving a D.
I'll give him a D. All right. Speaking of D, I mean, if you want to say somebody's got to be bad, the Chicago Bulls, ladies and gentlemen, the biggest move, trading, quote unquote, giving away pretty much Alex Caruso for Josh Giddey. They were also involved, obviously, in the DeMar DeRozan trade. They got Chris Duarte and 2 second-round picks out of that, and they re-signed Patrick Williams to a 5-year, $90 million contract. How do you feel about your Windy City Bulls?
The DeRozan move is good. The Williams extension is good. The Giddey trade is a complete and utter disaster, and it brings this offseason down to an F. And this should be a glorious celebration of finally tanking, but I don't know if they are. I don't know what they're thinking, because they are literally too stupid to predict. So,
It's so funny to imagine the Bulls like sweating bullets back against the wall. We're we're gonna have to actually be bad. Oh my god, this is fucking terrible. Like we're gonna win 10 games instead of 35, and then they see this shining light at the end of the tunnel that is Josh Giddey, a first class ticket to 37 wins every year for the next 6 years, and it's just like, oh, pull the trigger on that immediately. That's the guy we need. That's our guy for the future. So yeah, it feels like they found a new way to kind of remain mid. I know he's super young still, but just like, yeah, I don't know. We've talked about Josh Giddey plenty on this podcast. I don't really think there's a
Charlie D'Amelio's really young too. I wonder if she could become an NBA superstar in a few years too.
She's probably got one or two skills. Dancing, she's probably got good footwork. Although in the TikTok dances, they don't move their feet really. It's all like upper torso stuff. So
sometimes they do a step back.
Okay, well maybe she's really good at separating space off the dribble. I like that. They also lost Andre Drummond walking in free agency. Made me laugh. It always makes me.
Him.
Didn't. Yeah, just like we'll get to the Wizards too. They had a couple moves like that where it's just like, that guy was worth something, and instead you got nothing for him, and he wasn't.
Well,
good
what
for
about
you.
our sentimental value that he was worth? You're not thinking about that.
Okay, you're right. I
Lost
guess.
memories of the second half of the last year.
Oh man! And then they drafted Matas Buzelis, the hometown kid, just burdened with the dreams of this team that is gonna go fucking 25 and what is it? 25 and 57 would be the record. I'm trying to calculate 82 games in my mind.
I'm not the math one task. So
wow, we got two guys and no
Bread
math
phobic?
ones.
Let us know below.
Bread phobic, do the math for us. Thanks. Yeah, shout out to Matas. Had some cool dunks in summer league. I don't know what the rookie of the year odds are looking like for him, but it'll be fun.
Edie is number one.
He is, yeah, and that makes sense to me.
Cool.
Yeah, if Edie's like 10 and 8 off the bench for a 50-win Grizzlies team, I can see it. It's not like that many players in this class are going to have like huge statistical years.
He better have a big rookie year because he betrayed his country to go to training camp.
Is that why he didn't play for Canada?
Yep. He was like, I'm joining the NBA for the first time. I need to practice. I need to get with the Grizzlies.
Oh, you can practice at the Olympics. What better practice is there than the highest level of basketball? I mean, literally world champions almost.
You could be a fraud in 4 years and not be invited back there.
Exactly.
This is your only chance. You should have been at the Olympic Village. They should have been making special accommodations for you.
And they should have been making you a huge bed. Two cardboard beds head to head, and you're just like sleeping. It's not very comfortable. Your big man back hurts, but who cares? You're defending your country. The Cleveland Cavaliers, biggest move this offseason, extending Donovan Mitchell. 3 years, $150 million. They also extended both Evan Mobley and Jared Allen. Mobley gets 5 years, $224 million. And then Jared Allen gets 3 years, $91 million. We already touched on this. It's just strange. I don't have faith in this core, but Cleveland kind of just doubled down on it a little bit. And so I don't know what to think.
It's a C for me. Yeah, they're just running it back with a team that I feel pretty confident isn't it, but I guess they still want to see if it's it. So it's a bad decision for me. I think you should capitalize on some of these assets for while they're actually maybe Darius Garland's value could go up. Maybe I don't know if Jared Allen's value could go up.
I don't think so.
And I suppose if Mobley's value goes up, they're definitely not trading him. But
yeah,
and if he's bad, then and they
then he's getting $45 million a year from you, and so trading him is also off the table.
So yeah, who were the other moves that they made besides retaining the core?
I don't think it was that much. You're the one with the article open right now.
Yeah,
Like
so
that's literally all I wrote down. So everything else, if they did other shit, must have been pretty ancillary.
he has no notable additions. They lost Marcus Morris, Okoro. Oh, wait, where's Okoro?
What?
Wait,
There's no way.
Oh, it says Isaac Okoro for now. So this was written in July. Did he end up re-signing? I think he did. Right?
Yes. There's no way Okoro is like a free agent or signed somewhere else, and we didn't write that down.
Oh, and they got Kenny Atkinson.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean that's a thing that you want to look to. If you're saying what's different about this Cleveland team, maybe JB Bickerstaff was a fucking fraud, and Kenny Atkinson is the real genius, and he'll tap into that shit they were doing when Mobley and Garland were both injured. He'll lock into that, and Cleveland's ceiling will be back up to that like 20 straight wins level.
I'll say B minus because they brought back a B minus core.
Yeah, I think that's fair. B minus ceiling, second round exit.
That's my blood type. B negative.
B negative. That's also your disposition.
That's my tagline.
All right. The Mavericks. Big off season for the Mavericks.
Big ups to Boomba.
I'm Chet Hank. Big off season.
Oh no. Oh,
what?
There's a wasp climbing. Okay, he didn't go through with it. He was climbing behind my car mirror. That'd be a disaster if he'd set up a nest in there.
Holy shit. Imagine you just have to just podcast while a wasp is constructing an empire in your driver's side mirror. They should make a horror movie about that.
That's harder than being a first responder.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, you
don't. The blue kind, maybe. The firefighters, they work hard enough.
Some people like fighting.
Some people like fighting. All right, the Mavs' biggest move, they traded for Klay Thompson in the big sign-in trade. They gave up Josh Green and
Is Klay Thompson the biggest move?
Would you say Najee Marshall?
Peaches and cream.
I guess. I mean, yeah, there's a couple of these where I don't know. The Klay Thompson, box office, media draw, I will call him definitively the biggest move. Najee Marshall doesn't have exactly the same amount of brand recognition. But yeah, so they sign and trade for Klay Thompson. How much money is he getting again? Klay Thompson contract.
It's not written in my notes. This guy's article.
Your article. 3 years, $50 million. So that's, I don't know. I guess that's not as bad as I thought it was. All this talk about like the Warriors don't want to lock themselves into that. $50 million. That's like 17 mil a year. Although I guess he probably wanted more from the Warriors. So yeah, I think that's good. I think they got better. Ostensibly, you're replacing Tim Hardaway Jr. with Klay Thompson. I think that's an upgrade. Najee Marshall replacing Derrick Jones Jr. with peaches and cream. I think that's an upgrade. You get Spencer Dinwiddie is back in town. They hated him the last time he was here. He was part of the Kyrie deal, and everybody was very happy to see him leave, but maybe he can contribute, I guess. And then they also moved for Quentin Grimes. They gave up Tim Hardaway Jr. and 3 second-rounders for him. How do you feel about the Mavs offseason?
Did they hate Dinwiddie in Dallas too? I remember it was Washington that especially hated him because Kuzma was like, "You're din shitty." But what's it called? Yeah, Klay Thompson feels like the vibes are off because he's number 31. Is there any chance a number 31 Klay Thompson? Wait, what number was Klay Thompson at Golden State?
Number 11.
Yes. So what are the chances number 31 Mavericks jersey Klay Thompson is good? That'd be a shocker. But yeah, I think this team got better. Like, Klay Thompson is still a really high level shooter. Najee Marshall's can give you pretty much everything. Well, he's better than Josh Green. If you compare him to Derrick Jones Jr., there's a vertical element that's missing, but I think he adds more in terms of passing and ball handling and like slashing.
Absolutely. I mean, Derrick Jones Jr. outside of the corner was like a non-factor towards the end of the postseason. So yeah, I think Marshall is like an on-ball guy attacking the closeouts that Luka is able to generate for him. I think that'll be better.
And he's probably a better defender overall. And then I like the Quentin Grimes gamble. I think Josh Green is probably still better than Quentin Grimes, but Quentin Grimes theoretically could work out as 3-and-D rotation wing.
Like if you guys were listening last year when we were giving out the Ferris Bueller's Week Off award, I think Tim Hardaway Jr. was my Ferris Bueller's like season off player of the year. He was awful for the last third of the season. He had a couple big postseason moments as like a hot hand scorer often does, but in terms of night to night contributions, it wouldn't really take that much from Quentin Grimes to like match the shit that he was doing or surpass him. So yeah, I'm fine like giving Tim Hardaway Jr. up, giving up some second rounders and rolling the dice on that as well. And then I agree with all the shit you said about Najee Marshall. But Derrick Jones Jr., he will be missed. He's definitely good.
He's good, but also he's a guy that was a rotation player on the Bulls. So how good could he be?
How could if you played for Chicago, you kind of fucking suck. There's always
fraud,
yeah. Whatever your floor seems to be, there's like this giant cavern underneath that. And if you go to the city of Chicago, that floor will crumble out from beneath you, a la Indiana Jones in The Last Crusade, the first trial in the temple. Anybody who's seen that movie, you know what I'm talking about. What was I gonna? Oh, the Nuggets. Oh man, I don't want to talk about the Nuggets.
Wait, B+ for the Mavericks.
B+ for the Mavs. Okay, I'm cool with that. B+. I'll put like heavy conference finals contenders.
Emphasis on heavy.
Heavy. Luka. I mean, who saw Luka at the Goran Dragic? He looked fucking huge. Guys,
I saw the craziest AI image.
We've been through this with fucking James Harden for 4 years at this point. Sometimes guys' clothes just fit weird. Okay? I don't know what to tell you. Yeah. So the Nuggets' biggest move, re-signing NBA champion DeAndre Jordan.
Okay.
No, it's probably Westbrook, but Dario Saric is also right there. Saric 2 years, $10.8 million. Westbrook 2 years, $6.8 million. Both of them have a player option because the Nuggets are just nice like that. Just give them out to whoever asks. And then they obviously lose KCP in free agency to Orlando. And they traded away Reggie Jackson for cash. That was one thing. When you go back and look at the Klay Thompson sign and trade was the first trade in NBA history where 6 teams were involved. And it only breaks that barrier because the Nuggets accepted cash for Reggie Jackson, sending him to the Hornets.
Yeah, they kind of just took an L on this year. It feels like. They lost Justin Holiday too. Where did he go? I like Justin Holiday. I feel like he could have been used.
Did they lose him? Fuck me.
That's what Andy Bailey has written down.
Justin
in my notes. And then they lost Deron Holmes to the Achilles.
Oh my God! It says, by all accounts, Justin Holiday is still on the Nuggets for what I'm looking at. I think did he get a new contract or something? Did he get extended? Because, yeah, it's not – I mean, when you Google Justin Holiday new team, Justin Holiday team, nothing pops up. So I'm going to say Andy Bailey is an idiot fucking moron in July. And so he doesn't have the hindsight of it being nearly September.
He's messing up my notes. He needs to be more efficient about this.
Andy.
Is Westbrook officially on the team?
Yeah. They had to waive, like, Colin Gillespie to get him on there. That was sad. That was a tiny white boy. But yeah, Westbrook, I think he'll be fine. So if you're looking at this from the most positive possible angle for Denver, you lose one of your starters, can no longer reasonably claim even like one of the 3 best starting lineups in basketball. It's a really big hit to what you like to do on both ends of the floor, but this is the best bench unit you've had easily in like the healthy Jamal Murray seasons, but maybe in the entirety of like the Jokic Murray tandem run. They used to be a really deep team for the first few years of this, but since Jamal like hurt his leg, they haven't really been known for their bench units.
Well, wait. So what's their bench now?
It's Saric, Russell Westbrook. Fuck. It's so if we're thinking Christian Brown is a starter, then it's going to be Westbrook, Saric, Peyton Watson, and then I would assume a couple of starters staggered. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if Christian Brown slots in to play with them, or maybe they throw Jamal Murray out there. Julian Strawther is going to get some run as well, and you really hope he hits because the bench unit does not have that much three-point shooting between Peyton Watson and Russell Westbrook. A lot of rim pressure, but not a lot of spacing.
Yeah, I'm not really into. I'm not feeling good about that bench unit. This is a bad off season for them. They went from. They came into last year's favorites. They spent almost the entire season as favorites.
Mm-hmm.
Like even Bill Simmons and like other people, I think were like the Nuggets are probably going to win the championship, or they're the biggest threat or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then post Minnesota series felt like didn't quite have enough. Like you need just a little bit more, and then you just lost your depth. You lost your starter, and then doesn't feel like. Unless their draft picks really hit, which their newest one is definitely not gonna this year. It feels like this is a step back season for the Nuggets. It feels like they're throwing this one away.
Yeah, it feels like even if Jamal Murray career year, they're probably just at the level they were at last year. And that also, I mean, if the bench is bad again, you still have the problem of like. That's why they lost the Timberwolves series, is because the starters were fucking exhausted in the second half of that game 7. Like, nobody could do anything and nobody could get any rest because it was just impossible to play anyone. So I don't know. I think it's reasonable to expect Peyton Watson to be a little bit better. They're really hoping Christian Brown is like a solid rotation player, which he's good, but if he's trying to fill a KCP sized hole, I don't know how good he really is. So yeah. What do you want to call it? A D minus?
I'll say a C minus. I won't go too crazy, but I'll say C minus. I'll tell you what. If they had Westbrook and Saric last year coming off, are they playable in the Minnesota series? I don't think so. I would not feel good about that.
I don't know. Westbrook maybe, just because Jamal was so hampered at times with like the calf shit, and then I don't know. You could maybe roll out Saric with Jokic to kind of counter like the Twin Towers shit that Minnesota was doing and slot Aaron Gordon up to small forward or something. There's definitely options. Yeah, I guess that would be my take, is that it just gives them more than like Zeke Naji sitting on the bench.
This is the year.
Hey man, this is dude. Oh my, it's really painful. Like, that is the contract that cost them KCP, is Zeke Naji getting $30 million. That's why they couldn't afford to keep everybody. So yeah, it's tough. C minus. Ceiling, I'll put them in the heavy conference finals contenders again, but definitely feels like they took a step back. And I don't know if they're in a separate tier from everybody in the West, but I did feel like they were a tier above everyone in the West last year. So it's a regression regardless. And the heavy, I mean, that's really just based on Jokic being one of the greatest players. But beyond that, yeah.
Next up is the Detroit Pistons.
I gave them a C. It might have been a little okay. So their biggest move, they extend Cade Cunningham 5 years, $224 million. They re-signed Simone Fontecchio for 2 years and $16 million. I think that's good value. I think he's good.
He's my rival, that bastard.
Why? Because he was in Utah?
Yes.
Well, he's definitely is he a handsome guy? Let me pull him up.
He's Italian. Hey, they're good looks.
Hey, I'm balling here. I'm driving. Oh my god. The first
Were you
picture of him
taken
that
aback
comes
by
up.
his beauty, or is that a
It's
negative?
not
Oh my god.
particularly. It's not flattering. I'll say that much. I think his team pictures do him a little bit more justice. But when you just Google Simone Fontecchio, that first picture's a little scary. Regardless, Bryce is better looking.
Oh, I just had a good TikTok idea. Let me write that down in my notes.
This is what it takes to be an influencer, everybody. Whenever the moment strikes you, you have to be there. You have to be ready. So yeah, they re-signed Simone Fontecchio. They signed Malik Beasley, 1 year, $6 million. This is looking pretty good. Oh, they trade for Tim Hardaway. They're going to be bad again next year. They got Paul Reed. What's that? What's that on the horizon? This giant black cloud seeping over the entire offseason. It's Tobias Harris. 2 years, $52 million for the perennial near all-star from 5 years ago, I'd say. That was like his title. It was like, damn, he could be an all-star.
I didn't realize I knew they got what's his face, Tobias Harris. I didn't realize they got Tim Hardaway Jr. also, which is so funny. They got the two most hated players by their own teams.
Yeah, it's definitely like last year. I felt a big relief for them when they got off of Alec Burks. Like I thought he was like a big problem for them offensively, and they've just brought in like two more detrimental Alec Burks that will be handling the ball and taking more shots, definitely.
What's it called? Oh, how has Paul Reed done the past few years?
I feel like he's been good in spurts for them. But if I recall correctly, when Embiid went down this year, he was not even named as like the full-time starter.
B-ball Paul.
I know. Paul Reed as a starter this season. StatMuse, please hurry up. Oh my God. Okay, so 24 games as a starter this year, 10 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists on what is that? I'm trying to figure out. 52% from the field and 40% from 3 on 1 attempt per game. Beautiful. He also shot 69% from the free throw line.
So ultimately, they had to do something, but I don't know. They still they didn't really relieve that much pressure off all of the guys they had already. Like if they're gonna be good, it will be because Cade, Ivy, and Duran got better, and Ron Holland ended up good. But you just hope that you got a little bit of spacing out of these guys. But still, I know they had to do something. But I don't. None of these moves really move me.
Yeah. I'm on board with that. Neither of these guys feel. I do feel like 60 games of Fontecchio could be a slight needle mover. And if Tobias Harris really accepts like the same level of role he was playing in Philadelphia, really even a more reserved role, then maybe that works. Maybe he's good in spurts to make them better than the worst team in the league, which they were last year. But yeah, if they're really looking to make any strides, it'll just come from internal development. And I don't know. I mean, we've already talked about. We'll see what Cade Cunningham is this year, so I guess we will. What's the grade?
I'll say. Is C flat? Is that 2?
So we gave the Nuggets a C minus. How do you feel like this compares to that?
It's tough because the Nuggets are one of the best teams in the league, and they got worse. They made themselves worse. The Pistons were the worst team. They probably got marginally better. So I'll give them a C plus, I suppose. No,
Okay.
I'll C flat.
C flat. I'm on board with that.
I'll give C plus. I wish there was something in between C flat and C plus.
Okay. I'll type this out. I'll type out barely C plus. There we go. Ceiling, Cooper flag.
Oh.
they will. I mean, maybe ceiling is like the 7th pick this year, and that's like so they're like, oh, we got the 7th. That's our record. I thought we were gonna get the 10th or something. So
Maybe Jesus comes back, like Jaden Ivey said he would, and then he as loyalty, he gives Jaden Ivey his full potential.
whoa, Jaden Ivey's full potential or Jesus' full
Yup.
potential?
Jaden Ivey's, which arguably is greater than Jesus. 'cause
No,
greater physical. Tools.
Jesus' first step. Are you kidding me? Oh my god.
He's playing against carpenters and stenographer
And Roman soldiers.
what would be a job back then?
Did you say stenographers?
Yeah, what's a stenographer?
That's the person in a courtroom who like sits in the corner
crap.
to type everything up. So that might have been a job back then for
Maybe they were doing it by hand back then.
Yeah.
What's a they were
so
carpenters
you
and
could do like a carpenter. I'm sure they had monks back then, even if they weren't like Christian monks. I'm sure they had. So you have carpenters. You probably have like
scribes,
textile salesmen, merchants, things of that nature. This guy was playing against carpenters and merchants. Oh my god.
Polycule communist blue hair. They them be like, if I lived back then, I would have a flower shop.
I'm sure they have, and you know what? Let me check. You time travel back, and there is just like a they them flower shop owner. It's like, oh, they had the okay, cool, whatever.
Jesus is like, I hate that guy.
Jesus, you see Jesus try to like buy flowers, and they're like,
It turns
oh.
out the conservatives were right. He just hates it.
That guy fucking this store sucks. Oh my god. I got stung by a bee here one time. All right. The Warriors. Biggest move, getting rid of Fraud Thompson. Sign and trade with the Mavs. They had Buddy Hield and Kyle Anderson in this
He's not
move.
your buddy guy.
They had Guy Hield, friend Hield, friend of the Bahamas, not friend of the program. I've never talked to that guy. They also signed DeAnthony Melton.
Ooh.
They lose Dario Saric to the Nuggets, and they waive Chris Paul. How do you feel?
I'm feeling slightly optimistic. DeAnthony Melton is very cool. He's a really good defender. And then Buddy Hield can bring you a lot of what Klay Thompson. Well, he could pretty much bring you what Klay Thompson brought offensively. I guess there probably will be a learning curve in terms of just the chemistry and stuff with Steph, but he can definitely be a weapon. Like we talked about last year, how much his loss hurt the Pacers because he was like sneakily a big part of it, not just with his shooting but his screening, and he made life for Halliburton a whole lot easier. So they could definitely do some creative stuff with him.
Yeah.
Were they a better offensive team or defensive team last year?
If I had to guess, I would say defensive. Yeah, though. Let me pull it up.
Because he definitely, I feel like even with injured Klay Thompson, Buddy is probably a step down defensively.
Yes, agreed.
But
okay. Oh, I'm surprised. They were 8th offensively, 15th defensively.
Okay, so yeah, they could be a little better offensively, maybe a little worse defensively. I don't know. Do you think he'll get the start or will Podziemski get the start?
Oh, I would say Podziemski probably gets the start. If it's between those two, Podziemski is like the clear better player to me. And probably does more when Steph is out there with like a starting lineup. I'm never really thinking, God, I wish I had like a second guy flying around off the ball, looking for like pull-up threes and shit. But I mean, I think they'll mix in Hield a healthy amount. I don't know. It's just, I do wonder. I think he is a bad defender, straight up. I think that's why we saw so little of him in Philadelphia, even though they had all right infrastructure to insulate him. I mean, Maxi's pretty good. And Embiid, I feel like one of the best rim protectors in the league. Is it a better situation for him defensively in Golden State with like if you're running him and Podziemski at the same time? Podziemski's a really good defender, and then Draymond is one of the best anchors. I don't know.
Wait, who are we talking about? Buddy Hield? Yes.
Yeah. what just happened? Where'd you go? I mean,
I'm thinking about. I got lost in thought about Kyle Anderson.
oh, I'm thinking about him. I mean, yeah, I'm already done talking about Buddy Hield. Like, I just don't know. He's good at shooting. I wonder how Kyle Anderson, Draymond Green lineups. I want them. I think it'll be fun.
Oh, I don't want them together.
I want them. Give them to me.
But yeah, he's interesting as like a bootleg Draymond off the bench. So if they were to do him in that role,
imagine they just
else.
do him and Hield the exact same thing that they're
That'd
doing
be
with
pretty
Draymond and
That'd be
stuff.
pretty sick. And then Moses Moody minutes, I always say. So honestly, I do feel like this team got better. I think all of their additions can play minutes in the playoffs, and that's pretty sick.
I guess I'm cool giving them. It's hard looking at like each team we just did and thinking what to do. Do you want? I would give them like a flat C, but comparing them to the Pistons, who we just gave barely a C plus. Do you feel like they had a better offseason than Detroit? Would you want to go B?
Well, I'm comparing them to themselves of last year. So I'm gonna go B. I'm gonna go. Is that too generous? I'll go B. This is about the Holy Spirit flowing through us, and that's what the Holy Spirit's telling me.
Okay. Overall grade B. What's the ceiling? Fighting for the 6th seed, or is this just like locked into the play-in?
No, I could see them fighting for one of those higher seeds.
Okay, I'm down with that.
I could see him clawing. I could see him scrapping.
Nice. Do you have any other synonyms?
Serendipitous.
No. Okay, we're moving on. All right. Okay. He's not a book guy, everybody.
Oh.
He might be actually. I don't know. We never talked about books.
Bible.
The Bible. Shut the. Oh, I just got to what's his nuts just showed up.
Matthew 3:14.
No, I just got to Kuma just showed up and he has a Bible, and I was like, is the Pope canon in One Piece? What's going on?
So that chapter actually came out before the Bible. Wow.
Oh, damn! He foreshadowed it.
Yep. Go to.
That's. All right. What are we at? Rockets.
Ooh, this is shook. Yeah.
That was cool too. His whole thing was cool. He's sick as fuck. I like him. Rockets, the big move. They re-signed Aaron Holiday. I mean, they did not do shit this offseason. They re-signed Aaron Holiday, 2 years, $9.5 million. They add AJ Griffin in a trade with the Hawks. And then they drafted Reed Shepherd. Reed Shepherd looked really cool in Summer League. Will probably be a contributor for them. I'm not sure what the rotations look like with like Fred VanVleet and everything, but it'll be nice. What do you think about the Rockets offseason?
They didn't do much, but they didn't have to because they're one of those teams where they're like the Pistons in that any progress will come from guys already on the roster. So, if we're just grading the straight up off season, I suppose that's a B minus. I mean, I like Reed Shepherd, and then who's the other? Oh, and AJ Griffin. That's another guy who says the Rapture's coming. So another guy could receive a Jesus boost if that were to happen.
Okay, all right, right on.
Şengün probably Islamic, probably Muslim.
I'm not gonna make any assumptions on that front.
He's from Turkey.
Turkey?
Yeah, that's what they call Turkey in Turkey.
Oh, okay. I thought they'd call it
Turk var me.
It'd be crazy if you went there and they were like, "Oh yeah, they're just like saying it the mid with Turkey." Yeah, we live in Turkey.
Oh, that would be so gross.
B minus ceiling. I'll put it at fighting for like 6th seed ish. The Pacers, big move this offseason, re-signing Pascal Siakam.
Woo.
4 years, $189.5 million. They re-signed a bunch of guys. They re-signed Nemhard 3 years, $59 million. Obi Toppin 4 years, $60 million. And then they signed James Wiseman as well, 2 years, $4.8 million. And then they lose Jalen Smith. Oh, we didn't even talk about Jalen Smith to the Bulls. That would have totally moved the Giddey deal up a level.
That's one of the most efficient scorers in the league.
And he'll be that way in Chicago's offense. I mean, you have the best, like one of the best passers in the league throwing him the ball. So
I genuinely did forget entirely about him. That's crazy.
Well,
he could be better than Drummond.
He could be. Who the fuck knows? I'm cooling on my Drummond hate these days as a backup center. I think he's good. I think he's all right.
The Pacers. What do I do with the Pacers?
I don't know. I think so. If we give, who'd we give a B- for the Cavs?
Yeah,
I think we could give the Pacers like an A- B+
grades in the world. We get fired if we were teachers.
Damn, we should just have kids. I mean, we should have given the fucking Celtics a C. It's average. They just brought everybody back. Yeah, so I think bringing back a conference finals team, whatever qualifiers you want to put on that in terms of the opponents they faced or the health of those opponents or blah, blah, blah. You know, they made the conference finals, bringing back that core. I'll give it a B+.
That's fair.
You want an A- or you want a B-?
I'll go flat B.
All right. B. Ceiling. This one's interesting. Because, like, it doesn't feel... I mean, they did just make the conference finals. Are they heavy conference finals contenders again?
It's possible. If they just maintain the same offense and then maybe they're a little better defensively. Whole full year to integrate Siakam into the roster. You kind of know what you have more with Andrew Nembhard, so maybe you make him a bigger piece. So yeah,
I'll say in the conference finals mix is their ceiling. That feels a little less definitive than looking at like the Nuggets and the Mavs and being like they're going to make a hard push. Like if you told me the Pacers took a step back this year, wouldn't be the most shocking thing in the world. But I also think that offense it could maintain, no question. And I think if Halliburton's really like that, oh my god!
And if Jarris Walker's like that.
It'll be sick. It'll be so dope. So yeah. Clippers.
We're probably going to have to split this into multiple episodes.
I mean, how many do we have left? Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay. God damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
How many have we done? Like 8?
Yeah, I think so. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 11, 12. It looks like we're on like 12, 13. So let's get through the Grizzlies and then we'll call it and we can circle. We could do the rest of this on Wednesday.
Okay.
So that gives us Clippers, Lakers, Grizzlies to talk about. The Clippers, I did not like their offseason very much. I'm not going to lie. I would say the biggest move is letting Paul George walk in free agency. But if you want to say the biggest thing they actively did as opposed to just like letting something happen, they re-signed James Harden, 2 years, $70 million. That's fine. I still think he's like a high-level offensive player and shit. They signed Nick Batum. They signed Derrick Jones Jr. They traded for Chris Dunn. That's how I think Westbrook got off the roster. They signed Kevin Porter Jr., literally a criminal, and then they signed Mo Bamba. Cool song. How do you feel about it?
None of the moves like Derrick Jones Jr. I don't know if this is I suppose Harden is pretty similar to Luka, but still I don't know if this is the best situation to bring out the best in him. Maybe it is actually. I don't know, but yeah, the rest of the moves don't really move me. Cam Christie might be okay, but the rest of oh wait, do they? So they have Batum?
Yeah, they got Batum from the Sixers, so He's good. He'll be all right. Him and Derek Jones Jr. could be some like fun, toolsy wing defensive lineups.
Yeah, that's interesting. So, but ultimately, yeah, I think they're a worse team just because didn't really fill in the Paul George gap, even in the aggregate. So
yeah, and they lose Mason Plumlee and Daniel Tice off the bench as well. Which like Tice, that's whatever, but Plumlee, I was like legitimately their backup big, and I don't think they did. I guess they got Mo Bamba, but it doesn't feel like there was that much to really supplement those minutes. So if Zubats goes down, I don't know what the plan is at that point.
Yeah, I'll give these guys like well, honestly, I just saw Andy's grade. He said D-, so I can't steal Andy's grade. I'll go D.
D. That's what I wrote down. D, and the ceiling. I'll say ceiling. I mean, is the ceiling here even like a second round exit? If Kawhi's healthy, the ceiling is a championship, baby. Ceiling, Kawhi's health pending, second round exit. All right. That gives us the Lakers, their big move, re-signing LeBron, 2 years, $101 million with a player option. They also re-signed Max Christie, 4 years, $32 million. And then they let Taurean Prince and Spencer Dinwiddie walk in free agency and drafted Dalton Connect. How do you feel about it?
And they drafted LeBron James Jr.
Who's that?
Bronny James.
Whoa! Oh my God! I didn't know that was his name. Holy shit! Okay. How do you feel about it?
He's gonna bolster the G League team.
Dude, I saw the worst TikTok though. I mean, I don't know, two white guys talking at this point, but it was just like they were like, "We need to take Bronny to the hood, and he needs to have a girlfriend named Lakeisha and shit, and then he'll really be good for LA." And it was like, Jesus, I don't know, man. I don't know if that makes him a better basketball player necessarily.
We need to get Bronny into phase. I don't think they kind of maintained, right? So they didn't lose. They kept D'Angelo Russell, correct?
Yes, but I don't know. Was he up for a new contract or anything? Like he's just still there, despite a really lackluster offseason and being very mad at Darvin Ham.
So yeah, they're kind of running it back. I'll tell you what, the biggest offseason acquisition, my boy JJ Redick. I'm a JJ believer, so I might go C+ for my boy JJ.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Max Christie, Bronny James, and JJ Redick, and you're going C+.
Max Christie and Dalton Connect are great shooters. So and then this team with some direction, and then with LeBron coming off the Olympic LeBron and AD coming off the Olympic spoils. And then who was their rookie last year? Did they have any?
I don't think they had anybody playing big minutes for them.
Healthy Jared Vanderbilt. Whoa.
Oh my God, game changer. Holy shit. Rodman in the modern age, baby. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like Taurean Prince leaving does something, but I guess if Dalton Connect's really that good of a shooter, it's not like Prince was like locked in defensively last year or anything. Yeah. So it's not an irreplaceable piece. It's just a contributor that walked. I'll give them flat C. And I will give them with the ceiling fighting for that 6 seed. Or what do you think about them next year?
I do think they could be in that mix of fighting for a higher play.
Them, Phoenix, and Golden State's so hard. Just because, like, if one thing falls out, it's like a 12 seed. It's not hard to imagine it.
At the end of the day, it really just comes down to I don't think LeBron will decline that much, and I still think him and AD are like top 10 players. So
that's fair.
Those guys, pretty good.
Pretty good.
Shooting and defense.
All you need is a genius podcast coach behind you.
Yes. A guy who he's going to put him in the right spots.
Nice. The Grizzlies, their biggest move, drafting Zach Edey. Biggest literally.
Biggest move.
It's because they're moving this big fucker to Memphis. Where did he play college ball at? Am I tripping?
Indiana, Purdue.
Purdue. There we go. The Boilermakers, baby. What a stupid mascot.
Hey, Memphis might not be the prettiest city. That's a step up from Lafayette, East Lafayette, or whatever that garbage is. Ugh.
Ugh. And I assume you mean, is that a city in Indiana?
That's where Purdue is. Or is it
Okay.
West Lafayette? Something Lafayette.
I saw
I like
Purdue.
cities that weren't conquered by France.
I saw Purdue had, like, they have the world's biggest drum for their football games, but I refuse to believe that it's the world's biggest drum. It's just like a big drum. Like, it's maybe like 7 feet wide, which that's big. Don't get me wrong, and I'm sure it's super loud when you hit it, but I feel like there's like a massive drum out there that you need like a plane to hit or something.
People take creative liberties with that. Like, there's pizza places that say they have the biggest slice in the world. It's not even the biggest slice in the county.
See, I want the reverse of that. I say we bring back like county size mattering. We got the biggest slice in the county. That's believable enough to me where it endears yourself. It endears it through advertising. It's like, oh, okay, that's a big slice. You're getting your money's worth and stuff. But biggest in the world, I'm like, how can I believe you that you're even going to give me a big slice of pizza? This might be extremely average.
When you land a date with the hottest girl in the county, that used to mean something.
I mean, back in the 50s, you go to the malt shop. I'm meeting the hottest girl in the county at the malt shop later, and we're gonna. What did they used to do? Hold hands, maybe.
Now every girl runs marathons and knows how to do archery. So it's not.
What are you dating Katniss Everdeen? Okay. Oh, that's some fun qualifiers you got there. All right, you want to do the Heat or you want to save them? We're at an hour 6.
I'm done.
I'm done.
I'm done. Like the Naked Brothers band. Or no, that's Jonas Brothers. Yeah.
I forgot to ask people for lobbyist requests today, so
that's okay.
Do you have any final thoughts? Did anything crazy happen to you today?
We don't have time for them today. We're doing business, guys.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we can't be there every day, guys. Just like you're gonna get separation anxiety. Just like my dog has it. It's too severe with my mom. No, nothing crazy happened to me today.
All right. Fuck me neither. Shout out to Katniss Everdeen. Shout out to Zach Eady. If we gave your team a bad grade, yell at us in the comments below.
Guys, I'm not invested in these grades at all.
If you type a paragraph in the comments, I will read it and I'll change the grade in my notes app, and that will mean something. It'll put it out into the universe.
I thought you were going to say, I'm going to edit your comment to make it look like I was right.
Yeah. I like to do like the whole editing Photoshop Soviet Russia thing where the guy got removed with our YouTube comments. I like to type it out. So like, joestar's so smart and handsome. Oh my God.
Eco-brutalism. I'm in.
Oh, I'm in. Holy shit. Concrete building, trees on top of it, ivy growing down the side. I don't care what they're doing in there. They could be actively committing like atrocities. But if it looks like that, oh my God, I'm there.
Kunduz vines. Make tea out of it.
Kudzu vines.
Kudzu.
They eat. Are we talking about the same vines? That's the vine that ate the South, bro.
Yeah, but and I saw in a TikTok comment once a guy said, how come these are such a big problem for you guys? Here in Vietnam or Thailand, we make tea out of this. We eat it.
It's because Americans would never. A plant? Ugh, what the fuck?
Dubai chocolate. I'm gonna try it one of these days.
Oh, I got one of those TikToks where it's like, the person who has like the electric kettle or the electric pot and they cook stuff on their bed. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I hate that guy. He made meals or whatever.
Yeah, he made the Dubai chocolate bar on his bed.
I saw him cook an entire Thanksgiving dinner on his bed. I was like, there's no way you're not getting your bed dirty. I hate this.
I would assume it's a set at this point because he's probably. I think all of those are over a minute. He's probably making bank off those.
I don't know because I bet he's making like 12 cents per 1,000 views or something crazy.
It's probably true. Yeah, his RPM's dog shit. All right. Well, I mean, we could yap for however long, but I think I hear some music coming on over the horizon. I think a tall Spaniard's running towards us right now, belting out a beautiful melody. Do you guys hear that? Do you hear that? Whoa, pow! Take it away!
Lay down a list of what is wrong, things you told them all along. Pray to God he hears you.